you already know Okinawans are famous for living to 100. The real question is, what exactly goes on the plate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? If you want to borrow that pattern without moving to Japan or learning a whole new cuisine, that's what this video is. This is the Okinawa Diet simplified, and you can start tonight. Same structure, different flavors. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you a practical Okinawa-style template you can use with foods you can find anywhere. Plus, a simple grocery list you can screenshot, and a 7-day starter plan that doesn't require tracking, meal prep, or perfection. And there's one detail that shocks most people, especially if you've spent years hearing carbs are bad. Traditional Okinawa was famously high-carb because of one purple staple. I'm going to show you exactly how that worked and how to adapt it in a modern, realistic way. Now, before we build anything, let me remove the biggest mental barrier. At this point, you might be thinking, where do I even find these ingredients where I live? Or, I don't know how to cook Japanese food. Or, isn't this something you only get at Japanese restaurants? Or maybe the simplest objection, I don't even like Japanese food. Perfect! Because we're not doing a cuisine test today. This is not a list of exotic recipes. This is a template, not a menu. You're borrowing a structure, and you can keep the flavors you actually enjoy. Same structure, different flavors. Now here's the detail most people don't expect, especially if you've heard carbs are bad for years. Traditional Okinawa, especially around the mid-20th century, had a huge share of calories coming from sweet potatoes, often purple varieties called beni imo. In other words, Okinawa wasn't low-carb. It was often the opposite. A large portion of energy came from a starchy plant. But, and this is the part people miss, this is not the same as high-carb in a modern processed food sense. We're not talking about soda and donuts. We're talking about a starchy plant that comes with fiber, micronutrients, and a different kind of fullness. So if you've been told your whole life that carbs are automatically the enemy, Okinawa forces a better question. Which carbs? In what form? In what context? The Okinawan pattern was largely plant-based, with starchy plants as a foundation and protein showing up more as a supporting actor than the main character. That's the frame. Now let's simplify it into something you can actually do. Think of your meal as 3 layers. If you build the layers in the right order, it becomes surprisingly hard to mess up. Layer 1, non-starchy plants. This is your greens, your cruciferous vegetables, mushrooms, onions, sea vegetables if you enjoy them. This is the part that makes the meal feel abundant without being heavy. Layer 2, a starchy plant. This is the Okinawa move. Sweet potatoes are the famous example, but you can swap based on your culture and your kitchen. It can be beans, lentils, squash, oats, rice, potatoes. Choose one. And yes, it can be a fairly generous portion, because it's a plant-based foundation, not a processed snack. Layer 3. Protein is a side, not the centerpiece. This can be tofu, eggs, fish, yogurt, small portions of meat if that's what you'll actually do consistently. The point is not maximum protein. The point is repeatable protein, enough to feel satisfied, not so much that the whole meal becomes heavy and complicated. Now, one thing I need you to hear clearly. Most people don't fail Okinawa because of the template. They fail Okinawa because of what they add around the template, especially sauces, sweetened drinks, and invisible calories. So we'll keep sauces light and intentional, because sauces are the fastest way to turn a healthy plate into a sugar bomb without realizing it. Now let's add the Okinawan habit that makes this sustainable. Okinawans have a phrase, Hara hachi bu. It means eating until you're about 80% full, not stuffed. Satisfied, not packed. And it works best when you eat a little slower and more aware, not because you're trying to be spiritual, because your body needs time to register fullness. So yes, this video is what to eat, but the way you eat matters just enough to help the template work long-term. If you want a deeper dive on Hara hachi bu, I have a full video on it on the channel. Now, here's the part you came for, the actual simplified menu. What to eat, breakfast, lunch, dinner, Okinawa-style. Simplified. Let's keep this extremely practical. You're going to build the same structure 3 times a day if you want, but you don't have to. Even doing this 4 times a week can change your trajectory because consistency beats intensity. Breakfast. Breakfast doesn't need to be complicated. The goal is the same structure: plants, a starchy plant, and a small protein side. If you like savory breakfast, a simple option is a soup-based breakfast. A miso-style soup with greens, mushrooms, and onions, plus a sweet potato or oats on the side. If you like sweet breakfast, do oatmeal with berries and a small protein like yogurt or eggs. If you're a coffee and toast person, keep the structure, add a plant component, like a handful of greens or vegetables later in the morning, and choose a starchy plant that isn't just refined flour. The simplified rule is, don't start the day with only processed carbs and sugar. Start with plants and a real starchy plant foundation. Lunch. Lunch is where most people can make the biggest change without trying. Build a bowl. Double the vegetables. Choose one starchy plant: beans, rice, sweet potato, squash. Add a small protein: tofu, fish, eggs, and then keep sauces light. Here's a simple Okinawa lunch formula you can repeat. Big vegetables first. 1 starchy plant, protein as a side. If you love a burrito bowl, you don't need to quit it. Just change the proportions, double the vegetables, choose beans as your starchy plant, keep rice smaller, keep meat smaller, and go easy on sugary sauces. Dinner. Dinner is the easiest place to start because you control it the most. Same structure, different flavors. Vegetables, a starchy plant, and a little protein. You can do roasted vegetables with sweet potato and eggs. You can do stir-fry vegetables with rice and tofu. You can do soup with beans and fish. The exact foods are not the point. Copy the structure. Now, if you want the most practical thing I can give you, it's this. The Okinawa grocery list. Screenshot this. Non-starchy plants, greens, cabbage, broccoli, mushrooms, onions, whatever vegetables you'll actually buy. Starchy plants, sweet potatoes, beans, lentils, squash, oats, rice, potatoes. Pick what fits your life. Protein sides: tofu, eggs, fish, yogurt. Simple, repeatable. Flavor helpers: miso, garlic, ginger, turmeric, vinegar, sesame. Things that make plants taste amazing without turning the meal into dessert. And remember, sauces are a tool, not a flood. If you want this to be effortless, keep it simple. Now let's make it even more realistic with 5 local swaps. Swap 1, swap the sauce. Sugar hides there. If you change one thing this week, change the sauce. Swap 2, make protein easy. The best protein is the one you actually repeat: eggs, tofu, beans, canned fish, yogurt. Swap 3, double plants with convenience. Frozen vegetables are fine. Bagged salads are fine. Pre-cut mixes are fine. Plants first becomes easier when it's fast. Swap 4, choose 1 starchy plant. Don't stack 3 starches in one meal. Pick 1: sweet potato, beans, oats, rice, squash. That's the Okinawa foundation. Swap 5. Dessert is allowed, just keep it small and occasional. You don't need to ban it. Most days, downgrade it: fruit, yogurt, tea, and when you do have something sweet, keep it small and stop at satisfied. And yes, alcohol can fit too, but only if it's moderate and with meals. If you don't drink, skip it. You're not missing the point. Now, I promised I'd tell you the mistake that cancels the benefit. Most people turn Okinawa into a short challenge. They go strict for a few days. They get bored, they rebound, and they quit. Okinawa works because it's repeatable. Same structure, different flavors. If you make it complicated, you lose the whole advantage. The goal is not to eat Okinawan food. The goal is to use an Okinawan structure with your flavors long enough that it becomes automatic. And Hara hachi bu keeps it sustainable. Stop at satisfied, not stuffed. Your 7-day starter plan. No tracking. Days 1 and 2, build the structure once per day. Dinner is easiest. Days 3 and 4, keep the same structure, switch the starchy plant. Days 5 and 6, Keep the same structure, switch the vegetables. Day 7, repeat your favorite combo and lock it in for next week. One rule: eat a little slower and stop at satisfied. If you do this 4 times a week, it still works, because consistency beats intensity. Quick recap, the part you're going to remember. Plants first. A real starchy plant foundation. Protein as a side, sauces light, dessert allowed, small and occasional. Stop at satisfied, eat a little slower. Same structure, different flavors. That's the Okinawa diet, simplified. Next, I'll show you how Sardinia does this differently, especially around strength and daily movement that doesn't feel like exercise. I'll put 2 videos on screen that fit perfectly with this one. You don't need to solve everything now, and if at any point you want to come back to this, it'll be right here.